Now, where these buttons have this little dent, this little protrusion, you can position them in a certain way and they won't spin around. It makes it a little bit of more of a snug fit. That's what all of these guys have. These, on the other hand, don't have that, and in fact are very slightly bigger. So this seat that I cut for all of these things, that doesn't fit. So what I had to do was actually file down a lot of that seat. Not a lot, but enough to be annoying. I don't know why these things can't just be standard. In fact, that's not just extra material here. This is a proper lip. So if I file that too much, I'm going to poke through, which I don't know if that's exactly going to be a problem, but I shouldn't have to. Anyway, yeah, so luckily it's not these four, it's just these four. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got to do these other 3. Oh, shit. But yeah, I thought I'd share that because that was a little, well, first of all, terrifying, but also unexpected. So that old adage, measure twice, cut once. I should have test fitted everything, but you know, I would have had to have undone everything over there. This video would have come out, well, more crap than it already is, so I didn't do that in the end. Done. Let's put it in. Straight back and forth. All right, good. And because it's never going to be exactly even, I actually end up with a pretty snug fit. So, I bezeled this. This is now rounded, and there's a bit of a lip here. But this should sit perfectly on the, whatever this is, the little, I guess that's paper or something? I don't know, cardboard. This is going to be very difficult to actually center on here, but I'll figure that out somehow. The important thing is that the membrane doesn't touch. So if I'd kept these, 73, I don't know that this would have touched. It might have cleared the membrane, but just to avoid any possibility of that. There we go. So I may be severely overthinking this. I might just hot glue it. Who cares? I don't know. We'll see. I just wanted something a little more, I guess, a little sturdier. But I don't know. Is it worth it? I mean, I got shit to do. I'm right in the way of the camera again. All right. I think I should just drill the holes and try it out. Right? What are these? 2 millimeter? Ah. This is exactly the kind of stuff that makes my balls sweat. Jesus Christ. Why do I complicate this stuff? Just hot glue it. Why can't I just hot glue it like a normal person? Nope, I gotta go and be special. Fuck. All right, now how am I All right, well that's going to have to be there. Oh shit. All right, well that popped right out. All right. That should do it. I should drill it. That's not even remotely clamped to anything. I thought it was between the table. All right. I got to figure this out. But I think, long story short, I'm going to use the screws. All right. So while I have the speaker panel off, I thought I would get this done. I marked the holes for the grill. Is that crooked? That might be a little crooked. It's very slightly out of sync with this one, but they're both kind of on an upward slant, so that should maybe give a good optical illusion if you're looking at it. Kind of like Greek columns. You know, they look straighter than they are. Maybe, I don't know. So I'm going to epoxy these in here, just so they don't vibrate, because they're like right at the speakers. And I was going to do like a whole line, but I'm worried about this dripping in there. I mean, it shouldn't, but it should be fine. That should do, and I'm not going to need a whole lot. It's dusty. I'm sure that's more than enough. It's very liquidy. I don't know if it's just the heat. It's kind of dirty. All right. Yeah, that is super liquidy. All right. So I should do it on there. You can sit in there if you behave. Okay, well that'll do something. Yeah, see? So that's the work time finished. I don't know how long that was, but that was pretty quick. Also depends on the heat, humidity, all of that stuff. It's just dusty. Let's see how we did. So I got the speaker panel, I got the thing put back up here. I may need to adjust it once it's on, because I remember these corners being pretty tight tolerance, but let's get her up in the meantime without damaging anything. What happened? Oh, geez. Okay, well that scared the hell out of me. I'm good, it's all good. That's just my brain being my brain. Forward, backwards. Where do I need to go? Forward, okay. There we are. Good. Yes. Perfect. Ish. Groovy. Okie doke. All right, now let's get the side ones on. Should probably put these in like after. Nah, I should be fine. What do I do with the screwdriver? Okay. Now, before I get the top in, I want to take my final measurement for the panel for the LEDs. So basically, this guy, I think in front of the speakers is my best option, which means just behind the sensor That's there. That looks pretty good. So that's going to have the LEDs. It's going to shine through. Could tilt this back a little bit. Oh, check that out. All right, so if I tilt it back, it's actually bigger. Actually, it's bigger on one side. It's crooked. So I can even this out, in fact. And that'll be, yeah, that'll work. Okay. Now how do I attach it? Could just cut some brackets. Maybe I can make some brackets. It's like one long L shape, kind of like those guys. Yeah, I guess I could do that. Balls. If I wrap it with aluminum tape, it'll be a little bit more reflective and it'll be a little bit brighter. If it's too bright, I can always just dial it down in the programming. I don't think I'm entirely done with the programming yet, because I think I want the fans. I have some RGB fans, and I think I want them to change colors with the LEDs in the back. I think. We shall see. All right, let me do that. Okie doke. Yeah, that'll work. Alrighty. I'm trying not to get too many fingerprints on this, but I am failing. Alrighty. So I cleaned these off yesterday, so this should be more or less clean enough. I want to get the one side at least pretty precisely to the edge. That looks nice. So far so good. Easy does it. Ooh, shit, steady. Alrighty, carefully, careful, and good. Oh, that was a little too precise. I got one little guy off. That's fine. I'll do the next one better. Now, should I cut this now? I think I should cut this now. Now, very carefully, because I don't want to cut into the LED strip. And I don't want too much coming off here. There we go. Okay. That's one. Nice. There we go. Excellent. Save this for later. If I should need it later. And then we just got to stick it. So 1, 2, 3. Let's start with the 3. All right, so I want this to be, I put a little piece of plastic on here because I wasn't sure if this aluminum tape would be conductive. So just to avoid that, well, I avoided that. Ha! Done. And this goes out the back. Red to red. Black to black. Oh, this is 20 volts. It's supposed to be 24. Is that not? There we go. 20. Really? There it is. 24. That's fucking bright. That'll do. Could have done a transparent one, really. Or translucent, rather. Alrighty. I think that's good. Let's mount her in the box. Just get slid. Ah, fuck. In there. Good. There we go. So these rails kind of get in the way of these guys. If I had super glued these, hot glued them, probably would have been a problem. As it is, I think that's pretty good. That goes into the notch. That should be fine. It's going to come down in here where all of my electronics are going to go. I positioned these. I think I'm going to cut these out. These will be the subwoofers. They're not exactly subwoofer quality, but the amplifier that I have has a double exit, double rail, double something for some subwoofers. So I may do that. I was just sort of giving it a try. I kind of fiddled around with this a little off camera. Whoops. These are my two power supplies. This top one is a 12 volt. That's a little, that can't be good. Whatever, it is what it is. So this is my 12 volt. Under here is a dual rail. I think V1 is 5 volts. Yes, and V2 is 24. So the 24 is going to run the LED strips. The 5 volt is going to run the Arduino, the minis, a couple other things. The 12 volt is going to run, what does a 12 volt run? I don't remember. It runs something. Got the 12 volt, 5 volt, 24 volt. All the LEDs are going to run off of the 24 volt. The buttons are going to run off of the Arduino, and some of them are going to run off of their own 5 volts, the Arduino Pro Minis specifically. Maybe that's what that runs. The iPack, I think the iPack is a 12 volt. Where's my iPack? All right, so it's got some 5 volt outputs, but it's going to be, I think, running off the 12. In any case, that's in here. I will have to take these out. I'll probably leave the rails, take off the power supplies. When I do all the wiring for the button, I need to take the whole console out. But I think once that's out, I'm going to try and see what I can do with that drawer, because that's a nightmare. Where I say now I'm in front of the camera, aren't I? Ooh, that's a splinter. That's right in there. Ooh, that's not wood. Ah. Fuck you. Anyway. 42, 22. What? 40. Fuck. 48. Was it 22, 48? I think that's right. 22, 48. Yes. So 48 long. This is going to come to about here, did we say? There. There's good, maybe? Yeah, no, there's good. So, about yay long. This is going to be somewhat covered. Whew. Now I just have to cut it. I wonder if there's any way to get rid of that scratch. This laminate is, well, yeah, that's not going to cover very much of that. Anyway, damage done. Moving on. Let's cut this out. Forstner bits. Forstner's drill. Oh, what the fuck am I doing? Holy shit, I need a backing to this, absolutely. Oh, that could have been bad. That could have been very, very bad. And there it is. Little details. When this thing turns out sort of serendipitously useful, just little things that I enjoy. Yeah, the back is all blown out, but who cares? Ah, almost. Oh, nope. Yep, those are the ribs. Give it that sort of friction fit. Nice. How straight is that? Not the straightest, but I'll take it. Yep, that'll work. Okay, and I'll leave that last little centimeter for grip. There it is. Ow, fuck. Let's see how this turned out. Nice. Yep, I'm happy with that. Ugh, well, kind of. Yep. There you go. More or less. I need to find a way to really tighten that down, but that's the idea. Now I got a button. So, nearly upon us. I've been trying to lay out some of this, some of these wires. I got the speakers hooked up. These are pretty long wires, but I'm going to have them run in the corners as a kind of cable management-ish deal. Go around there. So I got these potential subwoofer speakers, sort of stand-ins. I don't know, might do something like that. And the Raspberry, probably go front and center. Something I didn't mention, so this is for the trackball, but the iPack has a different connector for trackballs. I think I'm just gonna have to wire that up independently. Just rip all this out and rewire it myself. But for now, take this panel out and start wiring the buttons, because I think that's about where we're at. Wish me luck. So I got this jellyfish looking deal. This is basically the stuff that has already been wired. Originally, this iPack, let's get this out of the way, was meant to be there on top of these USB wires coming out that I just plugged in. I would like for this to go back a little since I have the space now. The problem is I've already wired all this stuff, and I don't know how many of these little connectors I have. I don't think I have enough to finish the job if I redo all this. So I think I'll hold off on the iPack and I'll just start putting these guys in. So first and foremost, I need to make sure I put these in the right way. So these LEDs have a direction. There's a double wrap and a single wrap. The double wrap is the longer lead, which makes it the positive, which means it goes to the green, which goes to the Pro Mini, or the Pro Mini, the Nano standoff, not standoff, what's it called? Terminal shield attached to the Pro Mini. And the blue, the daisy chained, which makes sense, is of course the negative. So let's put those in first. Ooh, this came off. Get in there, you little twat. There you go. Okay, so I'm certainly going to mix that up. So I can kind of see where these were supposed to be. These four are these four. So that goes in there. These just sort of snap in. Push, twist. Balls. Push, twist. Twist. Now the rest of it. Now, I don't know if they exist with this size female and like a thinner clip on the wire side, but this is what I have. And I'm always worried that it's not going to make enough contact. I've seen people do it this way, where they'll, I don't know if this is visible, but they'll actually fold the clip over the metal piece and do it that way. I don't like doing it that way, just because. So I prefer to do it, well, I don't know, regular style. So I prepped that. It's got one click, so it's steady. Get the right wire here. Where is it? There it is. And I get these guys in there. Now, when they're in, then I like to turn them so that the metal part is down against. I'm not used to doing this with everything already wired. I kind of do this afterwards. Really ought to do this and then plug it in. That goes in there. There you go. And in theory, those two are both touching the metal. And because it's this weird shape, I have to do the medium size and then the small size right at the collar. But any parts of this that don't make contact, I will find out when it's all plugged in. All right, so here's where we're at so far. I'm trying to wire up this trackball. I got, where did I put it? I was gonna just use these, well, I already cut these, that was stupid. All right, so I'm just gonna use these because I don't have these particular pins. So I basically took its cable and I slotted it. It had this insulation, which I think is supposed to be a ground because they soldered it to the ground. I don't know why they would do that, but I have a heat gun, but I don't feel like finding a plug for it. It's kind of a temporary setup I have here. But lighter works just fine. Try not to put the flame directly on it. It's really the only advice I can give you. And there we go. So, got these wires. Now these wires are gonna have to go in there. And I've been looking up on my phone what these wires are meant to be. And to be honest, it's not very clear. So I'm just gonna have to
kind of wing it. So long as I get the 5 volt in the ground correct, the white should be 5 volt. I think the blue is ground, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna double check, and then I guess I'm just gonna have to plug it in and try it out. And worst come to worst, I can always fumble around with some of these connectors. So once I got the connectors in, that's gross. I can kind of mess with it, I guess. A zip tie. I kept the zip ties loose. I'm going to tighten them at the very end when I'm sure that everything is where it's supposed to be. But I think I'm just going to redo these. It's not a lot. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 paths. Should be fine. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to throw any of this wire away. It'll just go in a drawer, like Professor Farnsworth. All right, let me do that. And that should do. I'm not sure if the order of this is correct. I have the white to 5 volt, the blue to ground, the Y1, Y2. I may need to flip this around. I may need to put it in the other side with the X1, X2. I think the X1, X2 is to do with the buttons, but I'm not entirely sure. I tried looking for some information online, but it's scattered and confusing. Not perfect, but it'll do. I don't know how to do these daisy chains any neater, any cleaner. So that is what it is. But, I mean, you're not going to see much of this anyway. I just like that it's clean and compact. These just become kind of plug and play, so long as I remember which side they go. Just because these shields are for nanos, not Pro Minis. I don't think they make one for Pro Mini. I checked, I looked, couldn't find them. If you do find them, let me know, I guess. But worst come to worst, I just pull this out and redo it. Now I can put this back in the machine, but before that, this USB, these USBs, I don't know how I'm gonna do the sound jack, because I think as soon as I plug this in, it registers a set of headphones. So I might need to lay off that for now. Maybe plug it in on occasion, maybe put something in the back as a kind of switchboard. I don't know. I'll figure that out. But if there's enough space to go behind, I would leave it behind. If there's not, I may cut a thing for the wires, like on a desk. You'll sometimes have that little cup thing. So yeah, so this can go back in the machine. But first, while everything is off, I think I'm going to put in the drawer. Yes. Okay. Yes. Let's go put in the drawer. Should turn the LEDs on. 2. Yeah. There you go.